Aindra Prabhu ki His Grace Aindra Prabhu ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hindi, English? English. Achha, okay. Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanasalakaya Chakshutum Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pachastadesatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So today is you can say either auspicious day or unauspicious, because auspicious day means is Hira Panchami day, and so this day is Aindra Prabhu left these planets here in Vrindavan Dham. So ordinary Aindra Prabhu is not ordinary portions. So he is directly represented by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at the missions. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sent him here in the age of Kali to this establish the Harinam Sankirtan and in the Vrindavan Dham. So because Vrindavan Dham is not ordinary place, this is also another spiritual world, and this is Prabhupada home. Or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also he came first, and Vrindavan stay here. Goswami also stay here. So so then Prabhupada wants this temple was the 24-hour kirtan. So because Aindra Prabhu is my close friend, how he become my friend? So I am also doing kirtan because I joined here, this temple, 1975. So that time the temple newly constructed here, temple had opened. Then Prabhupada instructed that this temple should have a 24-hour kirtan. So then that temple commander, he make the team every 2 hours. Each devotee, they can chant and kirtan different times. So so that time even my also duty to chant for 2 hours along other devotees. So even the midnight also temple commander comes, he wakes us, Prabhuji, your time came, so better you should wake and be ready for kirtan. So like that. So that way, and then I explained to when Prabhuji came from America. So I explained about all these things, how the Prabhupada started, how Prabhupada instructed to 24-hour kirtan here. So then Aindra Prabhu was so happy. So he said, oh, you are so fortunate. You join here, you take initiation from here and the Prabhupada for twice. So you are pujari, you are doing nice kirtan. So that slowly, because then at that time I was not stay here, I was in Bombay. I just was from there, I'm coming up and down sometime early, maybe 1 month, 1.5 month, stay Vrindavan and Kartik. Then Aindra Prabhu become very friendly with me. So he is he's telling me that, so you should come to Vrindavan, stay here, or bring your family. You should become Brijavasi. You have house. You should build a house here. He was talking to me all those things. So, but I say, Prabhuji, I have some responsibility in Bombay because I have children. They have get educations because Bombay is the best education for the this time. Here there are no education and then Vrindavan. He said, no, you want to make them. Your son you want to make him doctor, lawyer, this and that. You are so materially attached. No, you should come back when you are coming. So then after I started build my house and here in Vrindavan, then then Prabhuji's twice, thrice he came to my place. He did a kirtan, wonderful kirtan. Always he said, you invite us, you invite me, tell me whenever you want kirtan your house, we will do it. So, twice he came along the groups. So he did wonderful kirtan. Even the midnight also, he was talking. He said, he likes my place so much. He said, some problem and the management. So I will come to stay your place. So I say, no problem, Prabhuji, which room you want, I'll give it to you. Any room you decide. So this one room for you, and you can do your sadhana, anything. He said, yes. So whenever I come in the temple from Bombay, that time I was not coming here full time. So then he doing kirtan 6:30 here, then 7 o'clock kirtan is completed. So then he tells me, Prabhuji, come upstairs, Dadi, come upstairs. So then he bring me upstairs, his room. He said, talking, 2-3 hours we were talking so many things, so what the problem here, this, that, discussing, so many times. So always he's telling me to come out. He's my best friend. He's a best friend. Always he's telling me, there's so much prasadam, take as much you want, how many you want, you take prasad, you take. I said, Prabhuji, this is too much. I said, no, you take. He's free hand, free mind. He's friendly with me. So then, so he have problem to stay in India. He said, I have to move to India, I have visa, this and that. I say, I give him suggestion. Okay, if you have a visa problem, you do one thing, that because now BJP government and in the central also, there's a BJP government, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, he's a prime minister, and UP and Kalyan Singh and BJP, he's a chief minister. So if you apply to your paper to them, though definitely you will be Indian citizens. You will be stay back here. Then you become Indian citizen. He said, oh, it's a good idea. You think that they will listen to me? I say, you try. You give the application. Then he did that. Then after it become success, then he likes me so much. He said, oh, you Brahmana, you're from Nepal, you Nepali Brahman, this, that. He said, you, because that time he had only few saligrams. When he gave me 2-3 saligrams. Then after he become more saligram coming. He said, because of you, that now is more saligram coming. He said, Dadi, now became 1,500. He said that 2,000. So he said, you take as much you want. I said, no, I don't want. I have to that much. I want enough. But still I have 20. So I said, this is enough. I don't want much because all saligrams coming to me. For devotee come in and give it to me because I have to distribute also. I told him, but Aindra Prabhu's given me to saligram. I have my worship saligram. So I'm not giving anybody. But I personally worship them. I kept their name. I say, what name I should kept to them? He said, because I have a Krishna, one is Gomti Shila. So he said that he's a white, he said he's a Balaram, and he's a Krishna. So he told me that they should keep their name Krishna Balaram. So I say, okay. Then he kept my saligram name Krishna Balaram. So I worship Krishna Balaram. So that way, and I kept, he said that my house name, what should I have kept also? He said that Krishna Balaram Kuti, I say. he say. So he kept all the name and everything. So he is very much liked me so much. So then I'm always telling to him only one thing. He doesn't listen to me. I say, you please, Prabhuji, you do your Saligam Puja, and before 1 o'clock. So because you doing night, it's not good. Saligram Sundar Shilashri worship before 2 o'clock, So, no, I have no time, I am busy, I say, what busy you are, what are you doing? He said, no, morning I dash the DT, daytime I write some books. No, you leave it everything. DT worship, okay, you do every day for dashing. So then I say, you please worship Saligram before 2 o'clock. Then after you can do your work. So because I told him, because Saligram, if you were to night, so there will be problem always, because Padma Puran, they written to worship Saligram, and before, daytime, before 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, even, not in the middle of night, no good, I say. So only these things, he doesn't listen to me, but everything, he was following me, everything he is listening to me. So he is very good friend. So that way, only things, though I am missing him, because Aindra Prabhu is my close friend. Now I don't have any friend, I don't have any talk to like that. So what is I talking to Aindra Prabhu? He talking to me. So now I'm come to Vrindavan, so I don't have a friend. So he told to my son that you should make a nice devotee, do kirtan. So now my son has become a great, nice devotee, because he always follow Aindra Prabhu kirtan. He always listening. He have a mobile, everything he said. He doing kirtan Aindra Prabhu styles. Even he comes to Vrindavan. He doesn't stay in home anything. He don't go any places. He only come to sit all day in the temple. He do along with the kirtan party here. Aindra Prabhu. Even he do Bombay, everywhere he does program, for kirtan program. He sing only Aindra Prabhu's styles. He listening only for Aindra Prabhu kirtan. Nobody else. He doesn't like listen anybody else. Only Aindra Prabhu. So by Aindra Prabhu blessing, because he wants to, Aindra Prabhu wants my son should become nice kirtan, nice devotee. So he's become nice devotee, my son, because of mercy of Aindra Prabhu, mercy of him. So, so now I am missing him. So I am feeling so sad always when I come to Vrindavan. So then I go Prabhupada quarter, I pray to Prabhupada, I sit Prabhupada Samadhi, I pray to Prabhupada. So like that. So Aindra Prabhu is not ordinary person. He does such a wonderful kirtan Gaudiya styles, or play the mardanga, not like kirtan nowadays. Kirtan definitely it change like chick train, So like Aindra Prabhu have a sudden styles, play the mardanga, kartal. So like that is style to kirtan, to Gaudiya styles. So I also learned from the Gaudiya Mat before, and the kirtan when I was a brahmachari. So I was there. So so that way I like Aindra Prabhu. He likes me very much, So we're doing both a good kirtan. So now I am missing him. So Prabhuji not with me. So I am praying to him that he should give the blessings, my sons, so he can do more kirtan, he can more preach and Aindra Prabhu styles everywhere throughout the world, throughout the country. So because Aindra Prabhu wants my son, he always telling, so your son should become nice devotee, nice kirtan. He should nice, not in the doctor, not engineer. So he doesn't want to earn money also. My son also. Same thing, what Aindra Prabhu wants, same quality he wants it. So he said that when by pitching you can get the money. His son, my son telling, he's pitching by here. So even he get married now. So he also like that. So the people is demanding his kirtan because of Aindra Prabhu's mercy. So this is all my senior most God brother. I have very good association. So and before so many kirtan senior devotees, they know me very well from here. So when I come on the temple and Kirtan department in Gopal, I will tell Prabhuji, you have to do Kirtan because you are a friend. You please come because Aindra Prabhu will be very happy and pleased upon you. List for half an hour. He's telling to me, he's pushing me. So I was doing like that. So now all this old friend is gone. Bhagavat also gone. So Bhagavat Prabhu. So like that, they knows I am friend of Aindra Prabhu. So like that. So, so today is his disappearance day. So, I am very much sad for that. So, but by his instruction, by his by Kirtan, so he's still and Udas. He's sitting there in front of Krishna Balaram, and he assistant all the devotees here, 24-hour Kirtan, because Prabhuji wants 24-hour Kirtan, this temple to continue, not breaking all the times. So it continues going on. So by mercy of the Aindra Prabhu and Prabhupada, and Krishna Balaram, Radha Shyam Sundar, so this all mercy, all mercy of Aindra Prabhu, so we enjoy this place here. So I am pray to Aindra Prabhu, please share for me mercy also. Then I can do something. I can remember you, wherever you are in Vaikuntha, you are Prabhupada Loka, you are Golok Dham, wherever place you are chanting and dancing and doing kirtan, making the people and happy. And please help me also, so that way I am be an part of you. Aindra Prabhu ki jai. His Grace Aindra Prabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Why are you all here? Because you're admirers. A very special person, Aindra Prabhu, who I think influenced you and touched your heart in different ways. Aindra Prabhu has actually affected a whole generation of younger devotees. I have 3 sons in the United States. They all love Aindra. And when we came to India on an occasion, we made a big point of going to see him in his room. My contact with Aindra Prabhu started in 1982. When I joined ISKCON way back in the very early days, we always went out, everybody went out, we would lock the door of the temple and go out and chant Hare Krishna in the streets. No one was left. We would chant into the night. Srila Prabhupada told us we could chant until 2 o'clock in the morning in New York City because there's so many people out on the streets on Friday and Saturday night. So we would go out and we'd be energized. And because there's so many people in the street, well, it came to be that in 1982 I was president of the New York Temple. But due to circumstances, because the temple had been split, there was actually only 15 of us, strangely enough, in that temple. And we had a lot of different things we had to do. So I couldn't put out a big kirtan party during the day, and I was disappointed. We would always go at night to Times Square, where all the Broadway shows were emptying out, and we'd have nice kirtan. But during the day, Fifth Avenue was packed. And no one was there. So all of a sudden, a person I'd never met before, very gruff, very energetic, chastising me, shows up at the temple. He had come from Texas, I believe, at that time. He says, "Why do you have no kirtan in the street?" I said, "I love this man." He's chastising me. Good. "Why do you have no kirtan on the street?" "You want to do? I'll do it, but you have to give me anything. What do you want?" "I want a sound system. I want some stages. I want some backdrop. I want pictures of Srila Prabhupada, pictures of the deities. I want to go out on the street and set all of this up right on the street." So, this is good. This is wonderful. So he would go out, and I would give him a few ragtag devotees who otherwise couldn't be punished. He'd come to me all the time. "Now I want another stage. And I want some more pictures. And I want some sound system for those devotees who can chant back and forth, reciprocating right on the street. He was always thinking, he was full of energy. And his attitude always was, we have to do more, we have to do more. Does this sound familiar to anybody? Now those who have worked with Aindra, right? Push! Isn't it? Isn't it? And it's wonderful. This was Srila Prabhupada's mercy. Srila Prabhupada was very much like that. People may not know that. But Aindra Prabhu was emblematic of Srila Prabhupada. Don't sit around. Work. Do something for Krishna. Samadhi later. We're going to chant Hare Krishna. I used to go down here to the, was it called the Sitaram Temple? It was down the road back in the early, like 1974, 75. And there was a 24-hour kirtan going there. And we used to think, oh, this is so nice. It was like 2 people, maybe 1. And we used to think, just see how devotional they are. Just see. They're doing such a nice job. But it was Aindra, from my understanding, who really made it happen by his determination. And he, let's face it, what is the jewel? We have Vanitai, Krishna Balaram, Radhasham Sundar, but what is the jewel? What is the jewel of this temple that decorates the weeds? It's the kirtan. And that's what draws so many people here. And it was Aindra Prabhu who brought that about. So again, when I came to do some service in Vrindavan, some years later, there was Aindra. And it was a delight to see him. So I spent a span of about 5 years here working on some service. And I always got to see him every day. That was great. So when I finally left, he came over to my house and said, you're leaving, but you have brought over from the United States one antique furnace. It was a kind of a white, you know how they coat them, and it was an antique, and he said, can I have it? I said, sure. So later, around 2000 something, I came back to visit him, and he had covered it with cow dung. Right? I went to his room, to my surprise. Those of you are familiar to most of you, but anyways, everything was covered in cow dung, including this furnace. So you couldn't distinguish anything. He would burn cow dung patties and wood in there. And he said, oh yes, I call this Shri furnace. This is Shri furnace. And Shri furnace is kept me very warm every winter. So I was very happy that I got to do a little something for him. Okay, well, I just want to close by saying again, I spent many years in Alachua. Every year they have a festival there on Janmashtami. And they set aside a very nice display where they have kirtan there. And I think all the Aindra wannabes show up. And they have kirtan, and they imitate out of love Aindra. I used to have peacocks at my house. Remember the old CD that was put together with the peacock? Reminding us of Vrindavan, and with the kirtan and with the peacock. So I used to play this very loud on my property. And the peacocks on my property would call back. We'll do that. All right, well, thank you very much. And again, I think the fact that he touched so many people with his spirit and his determination, I think that's the most important thing. That he encourages us all to work hard as he did. Hare Krishna.
when I first came here, in 96, to stay. At that time, Aindra was kind of scary to me. My god sister, Harta, and also Joseph Mission, who alluded to this. You know, there's this verse, Ti Verena Bhakti Yodena. It's like, with such intensity. This is how Aindra was. And so, you know, I got to know Madhava, I got to know Gopal, and some of the other devotees, but I didn't speak to Aindra at all, except maybe to say that, you know, Prabhu, the deities look very nice. And then one day it was Srila Prabhupada's appearance day, and I was, Aindra Prabhu did not come that year. No, he wasn't in the temple. He was up in his room. But, you know, he was listening to everything. And so I was speaking about Srila Prabhupada. And I was saying that, how do we, let's see, how can we understand the inner mood of Srila Prabhupada? And I was saying that, how can we be so presumptuous to speak about the inner mood of Srila Prabhupada? And then I said, but we know what is the inner mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So by that, we can understand the inner mood of Srila Prabhupada. That just as we offer this prayer to Rupa Goswami, Sri Chaitanya Manobhisham Stapitam Yena Rupale Swami Rupa, he understood the inner mood of Sri Chaitanya, the Manobhish. He understood the Manobhish of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And so therefore he was able to establish Mahaprabhu's mission in this world. This is what that prayer says. And so we can understand Srila Prabhupada was Tadatnik with Srila Rupa Goswami. And because he also understood this inner mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was able to establish his mission in the Western world. And so, I said other things, but I finished my offering. And then all of a sudden, Aindra came down, and he was like, I thought he was furious. And he said, I was listening, he demanded to be the next speaker. And then he said, I was listening to this, and I just had to come down and speak. And so then he spoke. And the whole time, I mean, his mood, it was like, it seemed really angry, and I couldn't understand. I thought, well, maybe I did wrong. And so then he was speaking, and then he said, and this is how we have to glorify Prabhupada. And I realized, oh, he liked it. But I would have never known. And then afterwards, I developed a relationship with Aindra Prabhu, and it was very sweet. And I'm very grateful for that, because Aindra, he was so extraordinary. There's one thing I noticed that, you know how when he was doing the kirtans, when it was like from 5 to 6, 5:30 to 6:30, right before the arti, the temple would be so packed. And people would come every day. Everybody, it was a thing that you would come for that kirtan. There are only a few temples in Vrindavan that is like the Gaudiya temples in Vrindavan that I would say or have captured the local people. Like the Keshati Gaudiya Math in Mathura, it's captured the hearts, especially the ladies of Mathura. The Inlitala temple, if you go there, it's full of local people. And our Krishna Balaram Mandir, especially at the time that Aindra was doing these kirtans, not only, the local devotees, but the local people from all over would come for these kirtans. And because it was enlivening and it was full of potency. And this is Aindra. It was so amazing. And not only that, he gave shelter to so many of the mostly these were brahmacharis. There were ladies also, but mostly brahmacharis because people would go to his rooms every evening for Krishna book and just discussion about bhakti. And this was a shelter for so many devotees. There was nothing like it. And then it seems like at the pinnacle, he left. When some, in the practice of bhakti, when you're ready, Krishna takes you. Krishna has his plans. But we're very fortunate to have been touched by him. And I can only remember this. And at the same time, he was so down to earth and practical. Gopal told me that when he first came, it was a requirement of everybody who did the 24-hour kirtans to clean the brahmachari bathrooms. And so everybody had to go in and start cleaning the bathrooms in order to be on the 24-hour kirtan. And so, but he developed this 24-hour kirtans with by engendering the loyalty and friendship of so many devotees and inspiring them. It was very, very wonderful. So, thank you.
I came back to Vrindavan to live in more or less May of 1987, and I think that Aindra Prabhu had landed up in Vrindavan not too much time before that, and he began the 24-hour kirtan. I was the cook, and I would engage in different preaching programs. And then later on, I established the Food for Life over here that later flourished under Rupa Raghunath Prabhu. We were both living here, but we didn't have so much close contact with one another. And that's sometimes surprising to people because people thought that because we were both so much into kirtan, that we would have been very, very connected to one another. Although we weren't connected, I always had the deepest appreciation for Aindra Prabhu because of his deep taste and dedication to the Sankirtan of Sri Krishna's holy names. Before he came to Vrindavan, he was engaged in Sankirtan. He used to sit on a flatbed truck in New York City and go through the streets engaging in Harinam. And when he came here, he started something that was extremely unique. And that was sitting down in the temple and having everybody focus on the holy names and training people to remain focused in the chanting of the holy names. Despite the fact that I didn't associate intimately with Aindra Prabhu, I've had the association of many devotees who did associate with him very intimately. And as our last speaker said, he was very strict in training the boys in the Sankirtan party. He was very no-nonsense in his teaching young devotees how to do Sankirtan, but yet he had a very big and very expansive, compassionate heart that he would give shelter to people and give them fine instruction in not only just doing Harinam, but what is the goal of Harinam Sankirtan. And we find this point repeatedly in our Vaishnava literatures, that there is a sadhya, or there is a goal to be attained through the practice of bhakti, and there is a sadhana that one should practice in order to attain that highest goal. So by the grace of Prabhupada and by the grace of our Guru Parampara and by the grace of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we know that our sadhya is to go to Goloka Vrindavan and to serve Krishna in one of the loving relationships in which they serve Krishna there. And the process of attainment is the pure chanting of the holy names of the Lord while remembering Krishna. So Aindra Prabhu is very exemplary in this way. And oftentimes when I think of Aindra Prabhu, I remember a comment that Srila Prabhupada made in his final period here in Vrindavan, where Tamal Krishna Maharaj and other devotees, they would come and they would read the positive news from ISKCON around the world to Prabhupada every afternoon, because the idea is they wanted to keep Prabhupada in a very upbeat and a very positive mood. So they would always read wonderful Sankirtan scores from around the world. And once Srila Prabhupada said that I'm laying here on this bed in Vrindavan, but I'm beating a mridanga that can be heard all over the world. And he was speaking about the Brihad Mridanga, or the great Sankirtan distribution of transcendental literatures. And oftentimes I thought of Aindra Prabhu in this way, that through his dedication to Harinam Sankirtan, he sat here at Krishna Balaram and Radhe Shyam and Gaura-Nitai's lotus feet, and he did this Sankirtan, and he had organized the 24-hour Sankirtan here in Vrindavan. And it's something that started picking up all over the world, throughout the entire world, where now it's come to the point where you can't really pass a day without seeing in the social media that somewhere a Kirtan Mela is being performed, or a 12-hour Kirtan is being done someplace, or a week-long Kirtan retreat is being done someplace, where devotees come together, not just for socializing, but devotees come together and they perform a very serious sankalpa before the event begins, that they want to go much deeper into the chanting of the holy names, and they want to come closer to understanding what is the goal of the chanting. So I bow my head millions and millions of times to the lotus feet of Aindra Prabhu, because he started a revolution here in Vrindavan, and that revolution has spread all over the earth with so many serious, with so many sincere aspirants for devotional service, engaging in wholehearted Harinam Sankirtan. So we should remember this example of Aindra Prabhu, and we should carry this example within our hearts. And as much as possible, we should all be going out and participating in Harinam whenever we can. The more Harinam there will be within this world, the more people will become attracted to Krishna consciousness, and the more Harinam there is in this world, the more the sincere sadhakas and followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada will be able to advance to that goal of pure loving devotional service to Krishna. So thank you all very much for the opportunity to be here today. Hare Krishna.
Today we are here together for a auspicious occasion of Disappearance Day of Sripad Aindra Prabhu. As Govinda Maharaj was speaking, I was remembering those days when Maharaj was there in the Gurukul top floor in Brahmachari Ashram. I was there too. Aindra Prabhu also there. Many occasions, many types of things like that. Anyway, but definitely we have to learn a great teaching lesson from Aindra Prabhu's each and every action. His kirtan, as Maharaj was telling, is now it is world famous. Internationally, he is the acharya of this kind of kirtan. It is his style is his style, unique style. Don't for our kirtan, and he used to focus always in Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And the way of his kirtan, many of your kirtaniyas are there, He will attract as many as people. Many times he used to fight with the chokidars. Why they because he wants to let everybody sit and enjoy kirtan. Yeah. Not only he is famous in kirtan, because I was in book distribution at that time. He was a full supporter of book distribution too. Each year in marathon and whenever there is a requirement, he used to support and give some of his devotees from his department to take part in book distribution and always support. And not only book distribution and not only Harinam, he is one expert in dressing Radharani and Shyam Sundar. Mukunda Prabhu knows that. I think some days in a week fixed, every Sunday fixed, and that day was day when we come back, he's supposed to come and dress, and wait, why late, because he went to the original place to dress there, so he didn't come here. So, and his dressing is unique also. Kirtan, not only that, he is so down to earth, always cleaning service, any menial service also. In ashram, many times he will personally go and clean toilet, and he will take us to clean toilet also and clean ashram and everything, and he will give a class on it in the toilet room about cleaning toilets and cleaning ashrams, cleaning staircase, everything, particularly cleaning. So many things we can learn from his activities, from his actions. when he was there in Brahmachari ashram, we all ashramites will feel something that a special energy is there with us. Anything is there with us. Especially his gift to the world, his kirtan. Because of this, so many young now captivated by his kirtan. They may not be interested in any other sadhana, but because of him, his kirtan, they are captivated. So his dedication for Harinam, for serving to the Lord, serving to the spiritual master, serving to the society, serving to the devotees, serving to the ashram, down to cleaning toilet bathroom. In each and every field, he is unique. I never seen him wearing banyan or kurta, always like that. And he has his special kind of dress code. And whenever he will discuss with him, if he starts some argument, then you are cut. You have to be there for hours together. You have to hear him. Once he start argument, once he give class means, that's it. There is no time limit for his. When we start reading, we'll read. Kirtan, kirtan. Start cleaning, whatever, he'll go into it. Any service he will do to the bottom, into it. Anything. So, anyway, whenever we remember him, what to say, definitely a devotee of his caliber and his dedication, his sincerity, his seriousness, it proves definitely he is in Radha Krishna's, in his Nitya Lila, in his Gulab Vrindavan, he is doing his service there. But we are missing him here. Whenever we see the Gurukul top floor and we go to that side and we see, anyway for us it is maybe something different, but he is in different place. So today is the day this thing happened. I was in Rath Jatra in Surat. When I come back in the early morning, I arrived here. I remember the day Adikesha Prabhu just come. He told me, what happened? Another was supposed to come, didn't come. Then I used to be there in the top. One devotee told, I saw evening something. Then he went, and that day this thing happened. It's really our heart breaking. Anyway, but Aindra Prabhu's quality and his actions, his teachings, his speaking, and everything is always memorable for us, and we have to learn a lot from it. So, in his disappearance day, we can pray at his lotus feet that though we are totally disqualified for any quality he was bearing, but still, if he was very compassionate also, if out of his compassion he will shower a 1/1,000,000th of his sincerity and dedication to us, then our useless life will be useful. Sri Pad Aindra Prabhu ki, Samveta Bhakta Vrinda ki.
Buddy, somebody near and dear leaving this world around you. Many of you, your mamas and your papas are still here. All your friends and your brothers and your sisters are still here. And you haven't seen this phenomenon of people going away. But some of us have been here practicing Krishna consciousness for the past 48 or 50 years. I was just mentioning to Betty Bakshapu how we first met 43 years ago here in Krishna Bhagavan here. And I have a word of advice for all of you. in reflection upon the passing of Aindra. When he passed away, I felt like a great sense of remorse or brokenheartedness that I don't think that I ever really went to Aindra and I told him how much I appreciated his kirtan and how great a devotee I thought he was, and how much I loved his dedication and appreciation of his service to Srila Prabhupada. So, this is just a point for all of you who are here today. And let's not wait till people go away before we realize, how much, we really owe them and how much we really love them and how much we really appreciate them. Don't really try to pay that afterwards. I guess if you pay it afterwards, it's still good that you're paying, but it's better to pay up front, pay in advance. Always tell your godbrothers, god sisters, and devotees how much you love them and how much you appreciate them for the service that they do. And this will help us to build this loving family of Krishna consciousness that we really want. Thank you.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Militam jena tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Sayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Saparandiyam Adadanastranandantai Vridam Yache Puna Puna Srimad Rupa Padam Bhujo Dulisyam Janma Janmani Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Panchakalpatrubhyascha kipasindhuvevacha Padidanam bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Sripad Kirtan Chandra Namanandi Aindra Prabhu ki. So today is the 6th day of the month of bright half of Vamana, also known as Asar, the very month that, and just a few days from Rath Yatra. In fact, very soon in Puri they'll be celebrating Hare Panchami. So it's a very auspicious time. And we're all gathered here in Sri Vrindavan Dham, the holy place where Krishna displayed his pastimes. What to speak of displayed, for those who have the eyes, divine eyes, they can see Krishna's pastimes going on even now. Nitya Leela is going on. And in that Vrindavan Dham, we're sitting in a wonderful area called Raman Reti. Reti means balu, sand. Raman means lovely, lovely sands. Krishna and Balaram sported here. And in that Raman Reti there was a vacant plot of land, and a pure devotee said, "Let there be a temple in devotional service to the Lord," and a beautiful temple appeared with the most wonderful deities of Sri Sri Gaurnitai, Krishna and Balaram, and Sri Sri Radhasham Sundar Lalita Visakha. And we're all gathered here in this holy place, in this Krishna Balaram Mandir, established by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, because this day happens to be the very sad day of the disappearance of Sripad Kirtan Chandra Namanandi Aindra Prabhu. As Maharaj was saying, that while he was here we should have appreciated him more, Somehow we always wait till after the person's gone, then we say nice things about them. While we're here, we just cuss and swear at each other. When they're gone, then we say nice things. We never thought this day would come so early. How many years has it been now? This is the 9th disappearance festival of Sripad Kirtan Chandra. He had a beautiful moon-like face, always doing kirtan. So I like this name, Kirtan Chandra. And I think Lokanath Swami added Namanandi. He always had this beautiful round face, with this, sometimes with a wonderful smile, or if you got out of time with the mridanga or the kartals, then you would get this very sharp arrow from his eyebrows, choom, choom, choom. But always, most of the time, his very beautiful face, chanting kirtan. So that great person, we're gathered here to honor his disappearance. And as Maharaj was saying, he created a revolution. Especially amongst the young people. Because many of us oldsters, we've done so many things that the younger generation may be a little bit disappointed, but somehow Aindra Prabhu, he managed to inspire the younger generation. We see most of the young generation are here today. And as Maharaj said, he inspired the whole world to remember that our real mission is spreading the name of Krishna. Sometimes we get too involved in management, too much involved in temple construction, too much involved in so many things. Those are all nice, but they're all meant for promoting the chanting of the holy name. I can remember one time the Gurukul, they asked the kids very young generation, to make pictures of Sankirtan. So many of the kids, they drew pictures of stickers and cookies and so many things. That's what Sankirtan meant, selling things. We forgot that Sankirtan means, book distribution means distributing books and distributing the holy name. So that was Aindra's mission in coming here, to establish the importance. Just like Prabhuji this morning in Bhagavatam class, so deep realization that every page of Srimad Bhagavatam, practically, at least every chapter, something is there about chanting the holy name. This is our only business. So Aindra wants us to focus on that, not lose the focus. All of the things are good. Just like probably this morning was talking about, there's deity worship, there's so many things. And in fact, Aindra was very expert in deity worship. Everybody used to hold their breath waiting. Somehow or other, I don't know, it's always Radha Shyam Sundar's door, always the last to open, the curtains are the last, and you're just waiting and waiting. But when Aindra Prabhu was dressing the day that he was dressing the deities, everybody would just be in great energy. What is he going to do this time? You know, and the curtain would fly open. Wow! Shri Shri Radha Shyam Ki. But that deity worship was to inspire Sankirtan. So he inspired, because we were losing the point, he inspired this kirtan. Now, as Govinda Maharaj was saying, all over the world there's all these kirtan melas and kirtan retreats, and I'm seeing, I don't travel that much, but the little bit I do, I see interest in Harinam Sankirtan coming up again. I'm sure this is all, just like Maharaj said. Aindra was just sitting here in Vrindavan doing kirtan, but he was inspiring kirtan throughout the world. So that is the whole point of our Krishna consciousness mission. We want to become absorbed in chanting the holy names, and we have to take it to the streets. And that's what I'm seeing. There's another, and I'm very happy to see that many temples I see, it's the expats who are taking the kirtan. Usually they're very expert at coming to the temple and giving donations. But Harinam Sankirtan, go out on the street in the public and chant. But I've seen many temples where it's the expats who are coming and taking up the banner and taking the Harinam Sankirtan back to the streets. So the people were in such a hellish time. War could break out at any minute. There's earthquakes going on. This summer was so bloody hot. They made an article that very soon parts of India won't be inhabitable. It's getting so, it was hellish. And the only way we can save is with this Harinam Sankirtan. And we have to, again, take it back to the streets so that people will hear the holy name, they'll chant the holy name. I've told this story many times, but I'll tell it one more time. I remember we had a godbrother named Vishnu Jan Maharaj. He used to take his festival around to different cities. He had a big bus, and then he would fold out a festival and chant and distribute books and prasadam. And I was there one day, and one businessman, he was coming by every day. One day he stopped me. He said, every day you guys are here chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And I come by and hear this. I go home, and at night when I try to go to sleep, the only thing coming in my mind is Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And I was envious. I wish when I went to sleep only Hare Krishna would come in my mind. So this is the only way. These people, they don't want spiritual life, they're not interested in spiritual life. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu, these two lords are so merciful, they're giving spiritual life to those people who don't even interested in it. I wish I could go home at night and just Hare Krishna would come. So we have to take Harinam Sankirtan back to the streets. It's an emergency situation, just like when Prabhupada came, it was emergency. He did so many things. We have to again get that spirit that it's emergency. We have to take the holy name to the streets. Then we'll fulfill Aindra's mission. So I pray at the lotus feet of Aindra, as Maharaj said, we bow our heads koti, millions and millions of times. Please inspire us with the nectar of the holy name, and please inspire us to take the holy name to the streets. Shripan Kirtan Chandra Aindra Prabhu ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Gurave Gaura Chandraya, Radhikaya Tadalaya, Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha. Vanchakalpatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha paritanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivajari Gaura Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sripad Aindra Prabhu ki. So today we assembled here celebrating the disappearance day of a very wonderful devotee. And of course today is also, according to our Vaishnava calendar, we're observing Hera Panchami today. So actually there's an overlapping of Tithis, the lunar days. The Hera Panchami is observed today, and also, which is the Panchami Tithi, and the Ashar Mas is there, or Vaman Mas, as Prabhuji and Dinabandhu Prabhu was explaining, which is a very wonderful festival in Jagannath Puri. As we know, on Dvitiya Tithi of Jagannath, on this month, Ashar Mas, Jagannath goes to
leaves the temple and goes to Gundicha temple, which represents Sri Vrindavan Dham, because Jagannath is Dwarkadish, actually Krishna in Dwarka, but at the same time is always remembering Krishna himself, is remembering in Braj together with the gopis. That is the form of Jagannath, Mahabhav Prakash. These ecstatic symptoms are there on the highest level in Krishna himself, and then the gopis also. So then Jagannath goes there, and then Lakshmi Devi, after 3 days not seeing Jagannath coming back, she becomes a little bit upset. Why is he not coming? My Swami, my Lord. And then she's going to the temple with her servants. And then she's questioning the servants of Jagannath. Why is not coming? And they even nowadays they do that. And then they practically arrest the servants of Jagannath, and they beat him also, beat them, and then saying that Jagannath should come back. Of course, then there's a loving exchange there, and as Mahaprabhu was there, so Pandit was there, he was glorifying Lakshmi Devi and her associates, and then Swarup Damodar was there, and he was taking the side of the gopis. And then Mahaprabhu wanted to hear more about the mood of the gopis, and then he explains the love of the gopis and the reason why Jagannath likes to be in Vrindavan and goes to Gundicha temple. So very deep conversation is there, and Mahaprabhu appreciates that, because he came not only to establish the Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the holy names, the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. But he gave the bhav also, how to chant the holy names, because many people are chanting the Maha Mantra. You can see in India, even the Mayavadis sometimes they are chanting Hare Krishna. And they want to merge in the Brahma Jyoti, or they chant Om, the Maha Mantra, and they want to merge in the Brahma Jyoti. Sometimes they do. And then in South India, they're worshipping Lakshminarayan or Sitaram, they chant the Maha Mantra also. And they want to go to Vaikuntha. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being no different from Radha and Krishna, so he came and he gave the bhav actually. The Braj Bhav, especially Unat Ujjala Ras, the Bhav of the Gopis, and he was relishing that. He's Krishna himself, but he came with the mood and the luster of Srimati Radharani. So he came to give that also, that Braj Bhav. And so the conversation was there between Srivas Pandit and Swarup Damodar, and Swarup Damodar glorified the gopis and their love, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu really appreciated that. And also the Shashti Tithis there, Vakrishva Pandit's disappearance day, and a great associate of Mahaprabhu, who was actually an expert dancer and singer. He was chanting the Maha Mantra like all the associates of Mahaprabhu. Of course, sometimes we were chanting some other mantras. Hari Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha, Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha, Gopal Govindaram Sri Madhusudan, Giridhari Gopinata Madana Mohan. Even Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to sometimes chant, or sometimes just 2 lines of these 4 lines. But mostly they were chanting the Maha Mantra. So Vakrishwa Pandit, great associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and also Gopi in Braj, he left on this day. So one time he was actually dancing and chanting for 72 hours. 3 days and 3 nights he was chanting and dancing the holy names. So only extraordinary people, they can do that. And so he left on Shashti Tithi. And actually Aindra Prabhu, he left on Hera Panchami Tithi, that was at night time. And maybe at that time the Shashti Tithi had started also, and many times they are together. And so Aindra Prabhu, he had actually imbibed the essence of the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, which are the essence of the teachings of Rupa Goswami. And we are known as Rupanuga Vaishnavas. And Rupa Goswami is a very intimate associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and of Sri Radha and Krishna. And so Aindra Prabhu, so as soon he actually came in contact with Krishna consciousness, he understood what is the essence of this Krishna consciousness movement. And therefore, right from the beginning, he started distributing books. And then, actually at one point, then there was a change of the consciousness by some leaders, and they were saying, well, it is good to distribute books, but we should make some more money and we should sell some paraphernalia. And even, actually one of his temple presidents, when he was staying in one temple, told him that, well, you know, now you have to also sell some paraphernalia, and he was disheartened, and then he left the temple also, and he went to another temple, so he could continue doing what he felt is most important and what he liked, distributing books and then doing kirtan. And also he told me personally, one time only he met his Guru Maharaj, and that was when when Prabhupada came to his temple, and they were receiving him, and he was playing the Mridanga at that time, and very enthusiastically, trying to please Prabhupada and of course Mahaprabhu and Krishna. And then Prabhupada looked at him and just said one thing, Jai. And then he said, when Prabhupada said this Jai, he understood that is actually what I have to do. And throughout my whole life I should do this kirtan, and Prabhupada will be pleased. And just by this one time hearing from Prabhupada Jai, when Prabhupada was seeing him, noticing very enthusiastically, playing the Mridanga and chanting the holy name. And he took that to heart, the mission of Srila Prabhupada to spread Krishna consciousness, and especially then after book distribution, then he was doing kirtan. And I had the good fortune of having quite a lot of association with him. Although I joined here in Vrindavan, but due to health reason I had to go back to Switzerland, and then I went to America for a little break, and I got stuck there for 3 years, but I had the good fortune of meeting Aindra Prabhu there. And quite immediately we became good friends. And at that time he had already also actually dedicated his life in doing Sankirtan, and he had built a truck which was converted in the temple. We could open the doors, the side door, and then he had his small deities of Gonitai, and then he had Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta, and so he had a small altar, and then he was opening the side of the truck and bringing out instruments, loudspeaker, and then he was doing in the streets of New York, the busy streets. He was doing Sankirtan with a few devotees. And and at that time they asked, I was Pujari, and they asked me also to take care of the new bhaktas, because again the same thing, there were no new bhaktas in the temple at one point. And then Guru Grahi Maharaj, who just left recently this world, he was for short time president at that time, and he had asked me also to help with the making new devotees, because he told me that, well, without new devotees how we can flourish. And then I was doing that, and then we got some new bhaktas, and then we used to bring them out on Sankirtan, and we used to join Aindra Prabhu also in the Kirtan. And many times in New York, the people were saying, oh, it's nice that you're coming back, because for many years we didn't see you. So that is attracting the conditioned souls. The Kirtan, and of course even the Mahaprasad. Therefore when we have Kirtan, it is nice to have some Mahaprasad, because just Kirtan is good, but Mahaprasad is very powerful too, and very important. And even just now I was in Switzerland, and I was very happy. After many years, they also started again the Harinam Sankirtan, because for many years, same thing, hardly any devotees joining. And immediately, within a few months, then devotees are joining the temple. So, as the devotees, senior devotees have told, we have to make sure that this Sankirtan is going on. And one of Aindra Prabhu's also dear friends and followers, Ram Roy Prabhu. He was at that time in New York also, and at that time he used to sell some paraphernalia, and which was okay at that time. And then when Aindra Prabhu came to India, to Vrindavan in 1986, for the 500th anniversary of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, then even there again the Sankirtan stopped in New York, practically hardly any Sankirtan, or very little, sometimes only. And then, but then even Ram Roy Prabhu and others, then they met Aindra Prabhu many times here, and Ram Roy Prabhu now also. After Aindra Prabhu left this world, he was also shattered completely, devastated. But then he thought, well, I have to do something. And what would please Aindra Prabhu very much? And he felt it was a little difficult for him to stay here, because Vrindavan is a little tough place, and especially in the summer is very hot. So he felt, let me just go again back to New York, where Aindra Prabhu was doing his Harinam. And now again, every day he's going out, remembering Aindra Prabhu and doing Harinam and being very successful there and attracting more devotees. So that is due all to we can see the eagerness of Aindra Prabhu to establish the Sankirtan. Even as we know, Prabhupada introduced the 24-hour Kirtan here in 1975 after establishing the temple. He asked the devotees to do 24-hour Kirtans. And they were doing for some time, but they were not able, because there were not many devotees and so much seva was there. They were not able to continue. They were trying, but they were not so successful. And then, of course, even especially after Prabhupada left, then there were only tapes of Prabhupada, and only doing Artikta and Kirtan was there. Which was nice too, of course, the tapes of Prabhupada chanting bhajans, but Prabhupada, he wanted actually live Kirtan, devotees chanting the holy names, so that people become attracted, because if it is only the sound there, it is nice, but if the people, the devotees are chanting, that will attract the people. And we can see Aindra Prabhu, when he was chanting, especially Saturday, Sunday, so many people, they used to come from Delhi every weekend just to go for the Kirtan of Aindra Prabhu. So then, and as we have heard and seen, that because of his enthusiasm, so many devotees actually became convinced that we have to again start this Kirtan, and they started to even play or chant the same tunes which Aindra Prabhu was chanting, which of course some of the melodies which he was chanting he picked up from some other great Vaishnavas here in Braj, and some also because he was dedicated to Krishna, then he was inspired by Krishna to chant some special tunes which were not known in ISKCON so much, and by which he was attracting all the devotees, and as we heard, especially the young devotees, and but even the common man, people from Delhi, who were just coming to take darshan, but they were attracted to the Kirtan. So his contribution is very wonderful to the ISKCON society, to the Vaishnava community, the way he was chanting the holy names and attracting the devotees, and as we have heard, especially the youth. And of course, yes, many times we hear and we have seen that the youth, many times they like to chant holy names in Kirtan, but then they have difficulty in chanting japa or doing other things. But Aindra Prabhu was the example of doing everything. He was chanting japa, and as we know, especially during Chaturmas, he was chanting 1 lakh, or even sometimes Purushottam 2 lakhs. So he was setting the example that we have to chant japa also. And we have to worship the deities. So he had his own deities, and as he was here, he got more and more shilas, Govardhan shilas first, and then he had Ashtasakis, 8 gopis, and then he got shilas, more and more shilas, and at the end he had 2,223, 2,200 and more shilas. He was worshipping every day, taking him 2, 3, 4 hours doing the seva. And then it's still, because the Shilas are very nice, but it is like the face of the Lord is there. Of course, everything is included in the Shila, but we want to see the beautiful form of Krishna also, Shyama Sundar Radharani. Therefore, many times he used to come on the altar and really then telling me also, I'm so happy to come back on the altar and dress Radha Shyama Sundar. Yes, as we have experienced and seen, when he had come here to Vrindavan, and he was taking up the seva of 24-hour kirtan in 1986 on the Ram Vijay. Dashera is there, just before Kartik Dashami Tithi, when Sri Ram, he killed the wicked Ravana. So at that time he again started in 1986 the 24-hour kirtan, and then later on, actually that one is 1989, towards the end there was some strike of the pujaris, and then they asked him to dress Radha Shyama Sundari, and he was doing that for 8 months with bhav, really because he was absorbed in Braj Bhav. He was not just chanting the holy name, but he had Braj Bhav, as Mahaprabhu told, especially Gopi Bhav. And so he was absorbed in that. And that was, therefore, he was able to attract so many devotees, although they may not know his bhav. And he was able to dress the deities nicely, very attractive. And with bhav, I always like to tell the story also how at one day he dressed the deities, and everyone, as Dinabandhu was saying, eager to look how beautiful the deities are. And he was there, I was there also taking darshan. At that time I was in the Gurukul, I just come from the West doing seva as a teacher. And then, so he was having a big smile, he was thinking, well, must be some special darshan today. And then he opened the curtain, and everybody, Jai Radhe Shyam. And then some silly devotees were there, and they were looking at Shyama Sundar. And where is Krishna's flute? Krishna doesn't have the flute. And usually when the pujaris are taking darshan and the head pujari is there, he always has to see that 2 things are there on Krishna, the flute and the peacock feather. So the flute was not there. And Chini devotees were saying, where is the flute? And then I saw the flute was in Radharani's left hand. So he was in the bhav that Radharani stole the flute. And then the Chini devotees, they felt it is not proper, and they chastised him. Why you don't have the flute for Krishna? That is wrong. He always should have the flute. And then they told him, if you do again, you cannot go on the altar anymore. And then he was he was not happy that they chastised him. And then the next day he dressed it is very simple. And then he called me, because again we were here, every day we were practically talking together. At that time I was still brahmachari. So I didn't have to go home every day. So I had more time to talk with him, and as we have heard, you talk to him, you start, and it takes 2-3 hours till he's finished. You ask one question, the answer is 2 hours. And then I had to go, Prabhupada, I have some seva. It's just 5 minutes more. And then really, Prabhuji, you have to go now, sorry. So then, then he asked me to pick up the seva, and that was actually 1990 I became Radheshyam Pujari, and then 1992 in January I became head Pujari, but still at that time he was not dressing the deities. But after maybe 1 or 1.5 years, because I had more and more seva, then I was doing also the seva, doing yagyas and doing many sacrifices and managing the whole deity department, so many pujaris, was getting a little difficult to every day dress the deities morning and evening and doing artik. Then I asked Aindra Prabhu to dress every Sunday. And then he was doing that for 1 year, 2 years, and then every festival we were dressing together, the deities. He was dressing Shyama Sundar, I was dressing Radharani. And yes, and then after I told him to dress 2 times a week. Later on, because I was busy, seva increased more and more for me, and then And so he was expert in dressing the deities, and he used to give class also for many hours till the devotees also stopped him. As one time he gave class, Bhagavatam class, which is supposed to finish 9:30. He finished at 12 o'clock. They were blowing the conch shell, and the Nayana was saying, I think we have to stop now. But then management also told him, well, for now you're not giving any class anymore. Because the devotees have to do some other seva also, not just sit down there in the class and listen. So that was going on, and the new president is coming, and then he was giving class again. But then again, if it's going too long, then he was told not to speak anymore. And he was doing Chaturmas very strictly, very austere, because we have to get knowledge and serve the Lord, and one should be renounced to some extent. But he was very renounced, extremely renounced, doing Chaturmas, very austere. And not shaving for 2 months, of course, that is also not so much appreciated. What to do, different devotees, different opinion. But it is actually according to the Shastra, Gaudiya Vaishnava, that is actually the tradition that they don't shave. Some they don't shave for 4 months, some don't shave for 2 months, some don't shave for 1 month. And that is actually the tradition. The sannyasis and brahmachari only shave 1 time a month. And then they change the Gayatri. Because he was so much absorbed in the culture, the Vaishnava culture, Gaudiya Vaishnava culture, and having this knowledge, and most probably previous life also impression. So for him this was natural, and then he was so austere. But even there he was also asked to shave up once a month, which he didn't. But then he was 1 month he was doing the seva on the altar and opening curtain. And then I told him, the 2nd month you dress the deities, but you don't open curtain at the darshan. I will open for you. So nobody will know that you're on the altar. And nobody actually then knew, because the manager is always busy doing so many things. Out of sight, out of mind. And so whatever he was doing was actually, he was a kind of avadut, completely absorbed, and then sometimes not so strict the rules and regulations, like doing his puja, which usually we do in morning, doing at 9 o'clock at night till midnight. But then not eating during the day, eating only after his puja at midnight, and then sleeping a few hours. So extremely renounced, and of course we cannot imitate, but you should take the spirit. And then although he was a kind of avadut from one point of view, but he was very down to earth in terms of the seva in the temple, or even doing the kirtan in a certain way, properly playing the instruments, properly chanting the proper tune at the certain time of the day. And then, so he was a perfectionist also. Everything has to be perfect when he was dressing the deities. How to dress the deities, a very elegant and very natural way, with Braj Bhav. It was looking like Radha Krishna there, just going about to dance. So most wonderful. And then of course, even then the atmosphere in the ashram, usually the ashram many times is not so orderly, not so clean, but as we have heard, he was cleaning himself, cleaning the bathroom, and then something very wonderful which he did, which is even now to be seen, he put cow dung all over the place, inside the room, outside the room, and then he had beautiful pictures of the deities, our deities, and beautiful pictures of Krishna with the gopis, the different pastimes, and nicely decorated the walls with cow dung, and actually producing a very wonderful atmosphere, and very nicely done. And inside the room, he started the system making the bunk beds to save the room. Otherwise, you only have 2-3 beds in the room. But then with this system of the bunk beds, then you can have at least 4 devotees or even more in the room. In the bigger room, 6 beds are there. And so he was a perfectionist also. I mean, so much more to say, but I think the other devotees there who maybe would like to say something. And but we should Yes, of course, so the disappearance day, and yes, I remember. Actually, that day it was Saturday. He was supposed to bless the deities, and at that time I was just at home chanting japa, and then they called me at 6, maybe 6:35 in the morning, and then they told me, well, Aindra Prabhu is supposed to dress and he has not come, and what to do? I said, well, okay, I come, you try to see what's happening. Because usually, many times he came a little late, but then he was managing, and then myself or another devotee used to come and help him also, but then nobody was there. And then I told them, you go to his room, and they said, well, we went there, we knocked, but he's not opening in the room. And then I quickly went, it was 7:15. I started dressing the deities, and one devotee was helping me, and somehow in half an hour we finished. And then I came out, immediately running towards Aindra Prabhu's room, and then at that time Adi Keshav, who actually had gone inside, and he had done, because they were breaking the door, and then they found that he left the body, and so then he came down and he told me that he left the body, and I could hardly believe it, that he left the body. It was really unexpected, but what to do? We all come in this world, and for one who has taken birth, he certainly has to live this world also. Of course, the devotees, great devotees, are appearing and disappearing, and so of course at that time there's a great shock and everyone crying. So, but then the years are going on, and then we can still remember him by hearing about him, by chanting for his pleasure, remembering his tunes. Then we are connected, because the soul is eternal. We are eternal, and the Prabhu is eternal. So, and the pure devotees are always engaged in serving Krishna. They leave this world to go another place in serving Krishna. So ultimately, from that point of view, there's no need to grieve. Of course, at the time of the disappearance, it is natural, because when the spiritual master, a very dear one, leaves the world, then naturally there will be separation, there will be crying there, and that is purifying actually. And that will actually increase then the loving sentiments towards that person. And so we assembled here to remember him, and on this auspicious. So for the devotees then, even disappearance day is auspicious, because that will give us a chance to hear again about the great devotees. And by hearing about them, or even just saying their names, then actually by the transcendental arrangement, the blessings will be there. By being here, all of you are blessed. Aindra Prabhu will bestow his blessings to Prabhupada, Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna, because he is a very dear devotee of Prabhupada, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Radha Krishna. And we know that he is fully absorbed wherever he is now in the service of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Radha Krishna, because the Supreme Lord is always very dear to his devotees, and is always taking care of his devotees, and devotees are constantly engaged in serving him wherever they are. So on this auspicious day we pray to him, and that we may also get a drop of his mercy, so we may be able to nicely chant the holy names in Kirtan and in Japa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Aindra Prabhu ki.
ओम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणम्। Hare Krishna. So first of all, I would like to thank all of the devotees who are present here in this assembly to remember this day, the auspicious disappearance day of Sripad Aindra Prabhu. into his Nitya Leela, and I really thank all the senior devotees like Dinbandhu Prabhu and other senior Vaishnavas like Dadibaksha Prabhu and Maharaj. So they kindly came and spoke and enlightened us and purified us. My first darshan or the kind of encounter with Sripad Aindra Prabhu was in 1998 at the time of Boat Festival, and it was quite an experience for me because Prabhuji has said to be short, so I'll try to wrap it up fast. Because there are many things when we start speaking, these start coming to the mind, that is how it happened, what exactly happened, and so many pastimes, so many incidents. So the boat festival, the temple hall was, now the boat festival being celebrated at Yamunaji. Earlier it was in the temple hall. The temple, this courtyard used to be filled with the water, and still, okay. So the boat is there, a boat used to be there, and the Utsava Vigraha, Radha Shyam Sundar, they came, and so just before that, there was one devotee who was singing very absorbing, melodious kirtan. His name was Rati Das Prabhu. And suddenly, Sripad Aindra Prabhu, he enters. He's full of beard, and that time this was not the smaller harmonium, not the crying baby. It was the bigger, not this tank size, but a bit smaller than the tank. So he came with this harmonium. He puts it on the ground, and suddenly from nowhere, hardly in the whole temple hall, there were not more than 50 devotees. I mean, on the back side, in the middle, in the front, who were doing the decoration, services, etc., etc. But as soon as Prabhuji came, at least 200, 300 devotees, they were just coming from nowhere. I was like, what's happening? And when he started doing kirtan, of course, you know how Sripad Aindra Prabhu used to do kirtan. So many Brijvasis came, and it was, coincidentally, it was Saturday. So as Prabhuji was mentioning, that on weekends, so many Delhi people from Delhi, like of course me as well, so they used to come just to attend his kirtan, nothing else. The only agenda was, in Krishna Balaram Mandir, there is one Angrej who sings kirtan, okay, and he blows it. So we need to go there and just be a part of it. So the first time when I heard this verse, Kiba mantra dila gosai kiba tarabal, japita japita mantra karila pagal. I could not really conceive, or you can say imagine, that really this can happen initial for a couple of years. But when actually I attended Sripad Aindra Prabhu's kirtan for the first time, it can actually make everybody a madman, a pagal. In that kirtan, in my first kirtan, I saw some people were like just screaming. Some people really wanted to tear their clothes. Some people are like dancing happily, and some people are like just doing so many things back and forth. And it was really, then I could understand that yes, this is really a possibility. Hasai nachai more karaye krandan, eta shuni guru hasi bhalila vachan. That's what the next word says. That some people are laughing, some people are crying, some people are dancing, etc., etc. So, for past 2 years I spoke whatever interactions or incidents I had with Sripad Aindra Prabhu. So I will not want to repeat them because it might be quite boring. But one thing I was just realizing today, when so many people were giving their offerings, many senior devotees, they were speaking about Prabhuji. So, Sripad Aindra Prabhu was practically impossible and impossibly practical. That's what Aindra Prabhu was. So, practically impossible because whatever he could do or he did, it's really not practically possible for most of us. I'll not say all of it, at least for me it is not. So, it's very difficult to do because the kind of tapasya I saw him, the way he used to do, almost not sleeping for entire 1 week, just chanting, doing his deity worship, honoring some little prasad. So, can you believe it? can somebody sleep while honoring prasad? It's not possible. It's really not possible, because honoring prasad is a kind of sense gratification to the body. But Aindra Prabhu was on that transcendental platform, that honoring prasad was also a service. Everything what he used to do, he used to consider himself actually in Braja Leela, that yes, I'm a part of Krishna Leela. I am just there. And it's not a mental speculation. He used to be there. Many a times, whosoever devotees, like Prabhuji is sitting there, Mahabhagat Prabhu is there, so many devotees who have long association with Prabhuji, they could understand. So what he told, it was me and Vrindavan Das and Prabhuji in the room, and suddenly he was doing Didi worship, suddenly turns and said, "Can you believe it? I fell asleep last night on prasad." Then Vrindavan Das said, "That's not possible. Are you kidding us or what?" He said, "No, because for past 1 week I could not take rest at all. 1 week, sleepless, Gudakesh, huh? So no rest." And then he was chanting, doing his deity worship, doing kirtan, etc., etc. And finally, while taking prasad once, it was Chaturmasi only, he fell asleep. And because in the period of Chaturmas, you can only honor once. And once you wash your hands, there's no second time. So then somehow he got out of his slumber and he noticed crunchy, dry hands, and somehow finished the prasadam and washed and cleaned the plate. So this was him. So absorption, like somebody was saying, the absorption, tanmayata. So that's the, you can say, personality, personified, absorption personified. If really I have seen in my entire Krishna conscious tenure so far, he is one of the most absorbed personality in Krishna consciousness. And it is not, after so many years of practicing, he became a kind of absorbed person. I don't know how many of you have heard that interview with Satyaraj Prabhu. If you have not, I really and very strongly recommend to listen to that interview. So there he is telling Satyaraj Prabhu that for the first time, because as Prabhuji was mentioning while introducing, that Aindra Prabhu got introduced to devotees in the street kirtan. So he didn't know how to really chant on japa beads. So somebody gave him japa beads and said that you need to chant 16 rounds of this 108. So 16 into 108. So that time he was stoned, as he said. So he used to take marijuana or something. So in that high state of mind, he was a kind of spiritual as well as in both parts of the world, you can say. So while being stoned, he started chanting. Okay, and so many spiritual gurus and and sannyasis went to US. They were preaching about spirituality. Most of them used to teach that kind of a meditation. So he thought even the Hare Krishna mantra is supposed to be chanted like this. So he started chanting Hare Krishna, so long. So that's what he is actually sounding in that recording. So then Satyaraj Prabhu asked him, "So could you chant 16 rounds?" He said, "Come on, I could not chant even 16 mantras, I fell asleep." What about 16 rounds? So finally one day with his father, he went to attend a Sunday feast because there was a kind of a disagreement, or you can say some kind of a not misunderstanding. Basically, his wife was not agreeing for Krishna consciousness. Then he said, "I really want to join it." So she said, "I'm not yet enjoyed you properly," something like that. Then he said, "I felt myself that I'm a meat on a tigress's table. So I really wanted to leave that place." And he left his wife. There were 4 years they were together. And then he told his father that, "Dad, I want to join the temple." Then his father said, "First you see what the experience it is," because his father also was a bit kind of spiritual. By the way, I don't know how esoteric it would be to tell, but once Aindra Prabhu told that he had a dream in which he realized that his father was a fallen disciple of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. So his father took him to a Sunday feast, and there he saw devotees chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare. Oh, that's how they chant 16 hours. So they came back and they were discussing, and he said, I finally made up my mind, I want to join. He said, okay, but why don't you practice once chanting, because most of the important activities these Hare Krishnas do, they chant. So you try once and see how it goes, and then you can decide. Then his father retired for the day a bit early, maybe 10 p.m., something like that. And he sat to chant outside his home at 10 p.m. with closed eyes, and he was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. And you know what time he opened his eyes? At the time of sunrise. When sun was up high in the sky, then he could realize, oh, it's morning. And he told this experience to his father. And his father was very much astonished. Even Satyaraj Prabhu, who was talking to him, he was very much shocked. So you could not even forget for even for 1 second that you want to be in the external consciousness. And he was completely absorbed. That's what he was always. And impossibly practical, when I said. So impossibly practical means the first kind of instruction what I got from him was, of course, it's not just to me, to whomsoever he met. Jare dekhe tare ko Krishna Udesh. Aindra Prabhu was Jare dekhe, so he was calling everybody to Vrindavan, whomsoever he was meeting, just come to Vrindavan, as he did to Dadi Baksha Prabhu. And almost everybody, whosoever he met, stop this thing, just come to Vrindavan. Like Eklavya Prabhu, you know Eklavya Prabhu, the trumpet player, now he's recommended to take sannyas also. So when he spoke to him for the first time, he has also taken a very long interview, a very good quality video. So when he met him first time, fortunately I was in the room, the very first instruction, Aindra Prabhu, forget Mumbai, forget everything, just come to Vrindavan and come here and join Kirtan. So that's what he was. So impossibly practical means he used to say that one should be a lazy but intelligent at the same time. So lazy intelligent means there's not much which is needed to require to go do big projects. Just come to Vrindavan, sit and do kirtans. I'm not saying that we should do that. I mean, we should follow the authorities, because authorities know best what is best for us in our progressing Krishna consciousness. But that's what he did, and he did whatever he used to do it perfectly. So, and one thing also I remember, as I was telling, so many people from Delhi used to come to just attend his kirtan. There was a school which I studied until my 5th standard. So the principal of that school, the principal ma'am, she used to come just to attend his kirtan. So once I just reminded her, ma'am, you remember my name is Aditya and I was in that school, Greenways. Oh yes, I do remember you. So she said, do you know him? Means Aindra Prabhu, yes, I know. Can you introduce me to him once? So then I took her to Aindra Prabhu and the Prabhuji, she used to be my principal. Then she said, no, Krishna is the real principal. Then Aindra Prabhu said, yes, the principal's principal. And never forget it. So he was very, very expressive when he used to talk, when he used to discuss a small question. So in this LA way, in this LA path, when he used to come out, devotees used to keep a kind of a hawkeye that Prabhuji will come outside after his kirtan. Now is the time to catch hold of him. If you want to have some kind of a discussion, some kind of a talk, now is the time. And I was one of the list, believe me. So there are many instances before getting married, just few months or something, I introduced my wife. She is a devotee much before than me. She was like 5 years old, since then she's a devotee. And Aindra Prabhu knew her by face, but when I said, Prabhuji, she's my fiancée and I'm getting married to her. You know what he said is unbelievable. I mean, I am introducing my fiancée and he's saying, you know what? Even a dog sees the eyes of the bitch as very beautiful. That was such a hammer on my head. And I don't know, like the Dipaksha Prabhu is holding a stick. Somebody was standing with a stick, coincidentally. He snatched that stick and he gave it to my wife. That take that stick and beat this rascal if it touches you. You are Krishna's property, you are not supposed to be touched by him. It was like big, it was a heavy statement, isn't it? There's some first instruction, before getting married, don't touch your wife. She is Krishna's wife, she is not your wife. And even you are Krishna's wife. Then he explained at least, he gave a 2-hour class in this alleyway. He was dripping with his sweat from the kirtan, but he gave a 2-hour discussion. Very heavy discussion. We know how Aindra Prabhu, very, very intense. Every time he used to be very intense. At times it used to be very difficult to even face him. At least I used to be practically very scared. When I used to see he's in a good mood, then only I used to come in front of him. Otherwise I used to be in the side or in the back or something. I might get some bad time of my life, maybe. So that's how he was. And one very sweet thing what he said once, the September 11 attack on the World Trade Center. So for many, many days, whosoever came into Prabhuji's room, they used to talk about it. Of course, I mean, it was a big deal. So whosoever is from US or from Russia, whosoever the devotee. So after 3-4 days, finally he said, enough of this attack discussion, Twin Tower attack discussion. I really just pray, no one attacks my Twin Towers. Nitai Shachisuta. So that's how he used to love his deities. And many things, I'm just skipping a lot, many things. Aindra Prabhu was really a perfectionist. Anything which is not up to his perfection level, he will not accept it. Be it a recording of kirtan, to even his signatures. Can you believe it? I used to collect some funds from Delhi other people and some whatever petty contribution I used to do with my limited capacity. So I used to bring that money and I used to take this receipts, because whosoever the donor is, they want receipt. So that I want to be very fair to them. So I told them, Prabhuji, I need receipts. He said, okay, you write their names and the amount. The signature part I'll do. Okay. So once he did signature, okay, it was not matching to his signature. He said, do it again. I wrote again. Then again, the third time it matched and he said, okay, now you can give it. And he was so good. What do you call a person who can do the things with both hands? Ambidextrous? Yeah, so he was like that. So once he was honoring Prasad and I went with my lot many receipts. He said, oh. Then I said, okay, I'll come back later. No, wait. My mother taught me how to do things from both hands. I can paint from the left hand, I can paint from the right hand. Exactly the same. And he did it to his Nitai Shachisuta. Once he actually did, the kind of curve he gave from the right hand, on the left to Nitai he gave from the left hand like this. Exactly same. And the signatures are even tougher to do with the left hand. So he did the exact same signatures with the left hand. And once me and my brother, for the very first time when we stayed in Kirtan party, my brother spent quite maybe few months. But first time when we went, 3 times he came to us and very strictly he said only one thing: minimum 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles. Then you can stay. Otherwise you can't. I said, okay, Prabhuji. So once it's okay. Twice he said the same thing with a more serious tone. A more heavy. Third again, did you listen what I said? He used to go somewhere, do it somewhere, and then again he used to come. With his new boys are there. So he came. I am telling you once again, minimum 16 rounds and 4 regulative principles. Then you can stay here. So that was his minimum or the basic standard. So Mahabhagavad Prabhu was saying, that I should speak something, a kind of appeal, because everybody is noticing that most of the congregation or in the assembly are the young people. Okay. So it's my humble request with folded hands, because Sripad Aindra Prabhu was not just a musician, he was not just a singer, he was a very, very deep and a profound devotee, as everybody is saying, because whosoever is listening his kirtan, it is leaving a deep impact on his heart. Why? Because the kind of strong musician, the music skills, whatever he had, at the same very time, he was very, very strict with his sadhana in tapasya. He never ever missed. I mean, his standard of sadhana was like a line on a stone. So nowadays, I'm not criticizing, believe me. I'm just, whatever I notice, that young generation is mostly after maybe the tal or the melody or just the details of the music. That's good, because Aindra Prabhu himself said once, because I don't know whom, I can't recall whom he was discussing with. The person said, but at the time of Srila Prabhupada, it used to be like a simpler kirtan, but so that everybody can follow. Okay, so then what he said, he said, my idea of kirtan is, when you are on a street kirtan, Nagar Sankirtan, what do you call it? So then you should sing simple melodies, so that the general mass of people can actually grasp it and they can follow, they can get the idea of it. But when we are sitting in front of Radha Shyam Sundar, it's an offering to them. It's not I'm singing, I'm giving this as an offering. And you just don't only offer khichadis every time. Okay, khichadi, khichadi, khichadi. No. It's a multi-variety, Chappan Bhoga, 108 offerings, 1008. And then he said, do you know, this I got to know for the very first time from his mouth. Do you know, Srimati Radharani has not repeated a single dish so far for Krishna since she started cooking. So this is variety in spiritual world. So that's what I am trying to do. I want to be part of Srimati Radharani's team. But once, I don't know, either I can't recall, it was some Maharaj or someone said that Aindra Prabhu, most of your followers are not maybe having any kind of interest in listening to Srimad Bhagavatam classes or reading books, and they quote you for that. That Aindra Prabhu says we need to do only kirtan. We don't need to become an armchair philosopher. That's all Aindra Prabhu actually used to do many times. Don't need to be armchair philosopher. But as Mataji was telling in her offering, every day without fail, and I have been a part of that discussion many a times, either Krishna book or Madhurya Kadambini or any book from the Acharyas, or even teaching of Lord Chaitanya, that kind of starter books, he used to discuss. I mean, somebody is reading, he is doing his deity worship and that. And then once he told that within initial 3 years of his Krishna consciousness, he completed all his Srila Prabhupada books. In the next 1.5 to 2 years, second time. And the same as a third time. And then he jumped to other books from the Acharyas. So he was that practical, impossibly practical. So that's what I say. So he was that deep as a devotee. And whatever he used to speak with realization. First he used to do it on his Jnana, Vijnana and Pragya. So he used to speak with realization, not just dry or not just whatever he's reading, just is speaking, but he's not having realization. He was completely realized soul. So this is my request to all the Kirtan leaders who lead Kirtan in temple, in congregation, in Nagar Sankirtans, to kindly do Bhagavad Shravan as well, to kindly chant your 16 minimum rounds, and to please read, to just give some minimum time of reading to Srila Prabhupada's books. To personally me and my brother, once he said, he picked up some kind of Srimad Bhagavatam, he said, these are so wonderful books, just by reading them, you can fall in love with Krishna. So just by reading them. So he was a profound reader as well. His DT decoration standards. He gave a seminar in Mayapur. So, and one thing I recall was, like Prabhuji was saying, like this flute incident. So many a times he used to, every time Saturday, Sunday used to be his turn to do the Shringar. So whenever he used to do Shringar, he did not much, Prabhuji can correct me if I'm wrong, much, you can say, decoration on Srimati Radharani's face. He used to keep it a bit cleaner and simpler. So once another Mahabhagavat Prabhu, so he asked, why you do like this? He said, so that Krishna can really see Radharani's face. So it's not covered with anything else. Krishna can see Radharani's face. That's what his, can we imagine? We do it, okay, I'll do it, then people will appreciate. Oh, such a nice design on the face of Srimati Radharani, such a nice decoration. But he is doing everything so that Krishna can really enjoy Srimati Radharani, or Radharani can really enjoy Krishna. That's what his mood was. So he said a very strong statement, you can copy my melodies, but not my mood. Okay? So most of us trying, but to copy the good things is really good. So let's keep on trying to copy. And at the same time, in parallel, in the deep of our heart, let's pray whatever ocean of love he had in his heart for Sri Radha Shyam Sundar, one drop, let's anchor for that, just one drop, that it should come into our heart. Once my daughter was singing Kirtan, His Holiness Aindra Disappearance Maharaj came. And you know what a blessing he gave to her? Very similar to what Aindra Prabhu used to say. That I bless you. Whenever you sing Kirtan, it will melt everybody's heart in the congregation. And when that person will sing Kirtan, it will melt everybody's heart in that congregation. And when the other person will sing, it will melt everybody. That's what is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement is. So, with a prayerful attitude, we can actually develop that taste and that mood. Aindra Prabhu's, he used to always deeply pray. He never used to express it, but he used to deeply pray. Many a times, the devotees who have been with him have noticed that while doing Kirtan, he used to have tears of love in his eyes. Many a times. By giving one Sri Radhashtami class, Srimad Bhagavata class on Radhashtami, he cried like babies, at least for good 3-4 minutes. He could not control himself. And finally, when he could compose himself, he just wiped off his tears and he said, first thing what he said, kindly forgive me for my behavior. And then he started reading Shri Prema Samputa. So, he was on a very high level of platform. But yes, by that what Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinataran. So for all the coming generation, at the present generation and the coming generation who will come in future, all the, especially the Kirtan singers, Aindra Prabhu is going to be our Sankirtan Acharya. Isn't it? Am I correct? So, he is our Acharya, he is our Guru. So by his mercy, only we can get a drop from the ocean what he used to carry in his heart. So let's pray on this very auspicious and very special day. Of course, very sad day at the same time because physically we lost his association. But believe me, whosoever is just praying to Sripad Aindra Prabhu while Kirtan, I can guarantee, it's because it's not me guarantee, it's Acharyas who will guarantee like this, that the person, the devotee, the singer, the Kirtan leader is with Sripad Aindra Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Sorry I took a long time, very sorry for that. Thank you so much.
Dear Aindra Prabhu, having attained the Bhoma Leelas, you are called by your eternal name now, in one of Krishna's road shows in another universe. You prepared your whole life for the day when you can see Krishna's face to face, eye to eye, cheek to cheek, and lips to lips, ring facing. In an unprecedented absorption, you showed us that we shouldn't believe in the lie, that we can't break out of and be free of our neophyte level of adhikar, for speaking the truth and nothing but the truth. So help you, Krishna. You were more than often demonized by the condescending disempowerment of those who lack the understanding of who you are. Due to envy, due to carelessness, or whatever reason they may have, They misrepresented and didn't understand you. Yet, I have never saw you backing down and surrendering to the pressures of your peers, society, or anyone for that matter. Those who couldn't handle the truth hated you, but me, I just fell in love with your brutal honesty and sincerity. You were empowered because you always stood your ground with the strength of a real gentleman. We all fell in love with your consciousness. Krishna truly appeared in your singing and speaking as Shuddhanam and danced on your tongue. You were naturally an authentic spiritual master, self-effulgent without any artificial stamps and courses and seminars. It was self-evident and realized as soon as you talked about Radha and Krishna or sang the holy names. Your true greatness was self-evident. Your heartfelt expressions were in full conviction, full desperation, in utmost humility, and complete urgency. It was a true spiritual revelation, a rare opportunity to witness and place in our heart of hearts and cherish it, feed and fill up our mind, consciousness, or whole being for the rainy days, which seem to be harder and harder without you. Your remembrance is my only strength. Aindra Prabhu, please don't forget me. I am your eternal Chaku Dan Dilo Jai Janmi Janmi Prabhu Se. Sorry, I am your eternal servant. Chaku Dan Dilo Jai Janmi Janmi Prabhu Se. Govinda Das. Govinda Prabhu Ki, Shiva Aindra Prabhu Ki.
And somehow I had an encounter with him. He would tell that, oh, this is my spiritual master temple, and I never want to give up service at any cost, any condition. I take the dust of all my God brothers and God sisters. It was right after Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day in 2009, and he had tears in his eyes in the Brahmachari ashram. He would just like, whatever it takes me to please Srila Prabhupada, I'm ready to bow down to everyone in this temple, but I never want to give up the association of my God brothers and God sisters. And he was very much dedicated to Prabhupada, and everything, whatever he attained, he would talk about the perfections in the bhakti, especially Nam Sankirtan. So it was not theoretically, because he was from musical background. He has done really, really deeply. He made an effort to please Srila Prabhupada very, very, very deeply, and which I personally observe while fortunately being in the Brahmachari ashram for some time. I see him day and night. He would serve Prabhupada, and also he had no hands in his clock in the room. So I would just think like, oh, how does this kind of Vaishnavas they behave? So I would check, sometimes sneak out, go for washroom nighttime, like 2 a.m., middle of the night, and I see him is so dedicatedly doing decoration of the ashrams. 2 a.m., everyone's sleeping. So they say that the sadhus they get up when the whole world sleep. So Aindra Prabhu never sleep. He conquered the sleep, and he was still like, he never wasted a second, even a millisecond. He was always engaged in the Raga Bhajan. And during the night he was decorating for the pleasure of Radha Krishna, worshipping his deities in the night and chanting 64 rounds. And he would come like 3:40 to wake us up. Ek gets up, Jeev Jago. Just go for Mangala Arati, take the beautiful, see the lotus, face of Radha and Shyam. And so he was practically teaching. We see so many speakers that speak, this, that, Ragvartam, Chandrika, so many, bhajan and the philosophy about the bhajan. And Aindra Prabhu, practically he was the Bhagavat, the great Bhagavat. He was practically following everything. So, and during his chanting, he was, as Aranyavihari Prabhu and everyone told, He was really absorbed. He has one purpose, Ananya Bhakti. One man, just one purpose, just to please Radheshyam. Nothing else, no bad or good kirtan, no comment. He never wanted to ask people, oh, today my voice, my throat got sour. He was just very, really absorbed. And as everyone knows, those who have done some service with him in the temple room, for him was a Golok Vrindavan. He just doesn't want any distractions. Even amongst his kirtan member, kind of me, like so-called person sitting next to him for name and fame. And then Aindra Prabhu would just close his eyes and remember Radheshyam pastime and would start his mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And then like whenever he just sees like, oh, you are not focusing, and he would do his like 5 fingers up in front of Radheshyam. I go a couple of times like even Gopal. So it was really his mercy. It was like, what kind of world you are in, you know? I'm trying to focus on Radheshyam. You don't disturb my bhav in the kirtan. Otherwise, get out of here. So a couple of occasions. So it was always his teachings, and it's really deeply, impacted in our heart. And from that day, I went upstairs and asked for forgiveness. Prabhu, you gave me the life. And as you know, like, we know that Prabhupada very much loved this temple, and 24 Kirtan is the heart and soul of Krishna Balaram temple. And Aindra Prabhu is the heart and soul of this Akhand Kirtan Mandali. That's why it's running. As everyone knows, physically, when the soul departs the body and the body doesn't function. The same. Aindra Prabhu never departed. As we know, like by Rupa Goswami, in the literatures, that in the Jiva has a many expansions. In Krishna's pastime, Jiva can expand. So as Aindra Prabhu, he's still here in this Bhoma Leela, and he still is the soul, heart and soul of this Nam Sankirtan. That's why it's running. We are just being an instrument. Aindra Prabhu, that's his causeless mercy that he is choosing us. He's somehow using us as an instrument at the lotus feet of Shri Shri Nitai Sachisuta Radheshyam Krishna Balaram. So that is very, 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 I'm very grateful at the lotus feet of Aindra Prabhu. So he's still being showering his mercy upon every one of us. We have to just accept that he is the soul of this Akhand Kirtan Mandali. That's why it's running. It's not just, oh, I'm putting efforts, so I am now Kirtaniya, I'm on the front. No, everything is now running by Aindra. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, that you're not killing your brother. I have already, killed everyone. So Aindra Prabhu still doing Kirtan, and he has a very deep appreciation for Prabhupada. He never deviated like people. He was eccentric, and I asked a couple of times my spiritual master, His Holiness Gopal Krishna Maharaj, so my Guru Maharaj, that I'm following Aindra Prabhu. Do you have any doubt, about him? And he was very loving smile in front of 100 of devotees in the temple. He said, actually I tell you, he's a Nitya Siddha, and if you follow his footsteps in this lifetime, you will reach back Golok this lifetime. So please, my Maharaj said, I have humble request, you follow 100% his lotus feet, and then we'll go back to him. So I pray at the feet of Aindra Prabhu, please, engage us more and more and more in the deep ocean of the mercy of Shri Shri Nitai Gauranga and Mahaprabhu, Radheshyam, Krishna Balaram, Srila Prabhupada, and engage us in the devotional service so we can also be reunite in the Nitya Leela, where Srila Prabhupada, Aindra Prabhu, and other great Vaishnavas want to be. So we need that's the goal of our life. Prema Bhakti means eternal service, Nitya Seva. We don't want to blink our eyes. We always want and want and want and want. Never satisfaction. Like Aindra Prabhu never had. And he was at the end, and couple of incidents, like I noticed that, like how Krishna fulfilled the desire of great devotee. It was Purushottam month, and Aindra Prabhu was observing very, very deep, very strong vrata, and we were many of young guys were doing, and he was always like, oh, now I have completely done my service here, and I just want to go back. I don't want to stay here at all. I have done enough for Prabhupada. And we said, like, Prabhu, so we also want to leave. He said, no, if you will try to leave, you will take another birth. Better you try to serve after me. Who is going to take care of the service here, Akhand Kirtan? So his mood was to engage everyone, and it was very open heart. And as we know, he was praying very deeply, and finally Radhesham, they needed him in the service. So our main focus is the Shuddhanam, like Ananda Vihari Prabhu mentioned, So our main focus here, just whenever we chant Sankirtan, we have to tell public, chant, and chant. We have to be exemplary in our sadhana. And we come to temple, like Aindra Prabhu, whenever he used to see the public, he would like invite everyone, tell them to chant. So we have to clap our hands. And I start learning from Gopal Prabhu and many others. And somehow we could please Aindra Prabhu by this attitude, not to just, oh, I am the singer, I have nothing to do. No, we have to do everything, just to whatever cost it takes to please the Guru and Gauranga. We must do that. So I pray to Aindra Prabhu that your foolish, stupid servant, please accept me at your lotus feet. And don't neglect me. And somehow, please accept my whatever fault in my service. Please always correct me if I am doing anything wrong. I'm very grateful to your lotus feet that you somehow accepted us. The feet of Radhesham and the feet of Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan, the lotus feet of Prabhupada. Shripad Aindra Prabhu ki.
That I remember about Aindra Prabhu, I call it battle at Mangalarati. The battle that was won, but with the war that was lost. Aindra Prabhu was pretty much annoyed with, you see, like if you go to Mangalarati, how altar in front of Radheshyam always occupied with ladies. And he very disliked it, like where the brahmacharya or renunciate, how can we get the darshan of Radheshyam without bumping into ladies? And long story short, once he decided to, pretty much we talked to every brahmachari and we organized, we agreed to come at Mangalarati a little earlier, and we line up like a chain across the temple room to stop ladies from going to the front. His idea, I actually helped him find references and folio. When there are more than one altar in the temple room, the separation between ladies and gents should be horizontal. Basically, ladies have to be in the back. So that's pretty much what we did. We lined up in one chain, locked up the hands, elbow to elbow, and to prevent ladies from going to the front of the altars. And once the Mangalarati started, the war broke. They were kicking us, they were pinching us, beating us, but we stand still, we didn't let them through. When Aindra came to know, he was in front of us, he didn't know what's going on. So later on we told them, they were acting like this way, and he stopped it. This can't go on in front of deities, so there was one-time battle. But as you can see, it still goes on, and I just want to make a point, if we want to please Aindra Prabhu, ladies specifically,
I mean, you can remember this opinion of his that ladies should be in the back. I mean, there are multiple reasons. I mean, first of all, he mentioned that for a man to watch a girl or get attached to a girl, it's a degradation. Next life he might get a female body. For a lady to get attached to a man, it's progress, because in this life she might get a male body. So from that point of view, it's more appropriate for a man to be in the front. One more thing that I find funny, often we hear feminists give this quote from Prabhupada. Some brahmachari got aggravated by beautiful girls entering the temple room, and when Prabhupada heard about it, heard his complaint, he told him, well, if you agitated so much with ladies, you should go live in the forest. So Aindra's reply to that was, well, I am in the forest. Vrindavan is the forest, that's where I came. So I think like we should consider this, you know, and keep in mind Aindra would be pleased, like Mahabharata Prabhu mentioned, he's still here, you know, so we can please him even in little thing like that. I'll end here. Aindra Prabhu ki jai.
Interesting lady topic. A lady comes to speak. Front, hello. Okay, Hare Krishna. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I totally take that part. And I wanted to say that I was never afraid of Aindra Prabhu and never felt like he is discriminating ladies, ever. And I have known him for many years. And I came in Vrindavan first time in 1988. Oh, 1998, sorry, I'm not that old. And that's when I met him. I saw him in Kirtan. And then I thought, oh my God, I have to stay here. That person gives me so much inspiration. So basically from that time I was in Vrindavan. I was 15-year-old that time. And yeah, don't have much time. I'll just share maybe a few stories. And I wanted to say that Aindra Prabhu was, and always will be a column of my spiritual life, a column which holds the building. He's not the only one. There are other devotees who are also the columns of my spiritual life, like Dinabandhu Prabhu, Mukundadatta Prabhu, my spiritual master, and other Vaishnavas. And I also wanted to say that actually each person who sits in this room has a relationship with Aindra Prabhu, and anybody can talk about him, actually. It's just that I'm very humbled and honored that I am sitting here to speak, but it's basically, I know Mataji is there who had so much connection with Aindra Prabhu also, you know. So I remember one time in the Kirtan, he did this thing sometimes. He would sit chant and sometimes would stop Kirtan abruptly, like very suddenly, and say something. So that point, and he was doing Kirtan and he stopped and he looked at everybody and he said, I'm sitting in the most holy place in the three worlds, Shri Vrindavan Dham, and I'm locked up in this dead body. And then it was a very grave silence, and then he started chanting again. Yes, so he was not like really into his body. He was really off bodily platform, 108%. And as a woman, I know that, you know, I can tell. So it's funny, that's one time he told me personally, you know, they criticize me. They say, oh, Aindra Prabhu dresses like, look how he's dressing up. What is this way he's dressing up? It's so weird. And they criticize me, but actually, he said, they don't know how I actually dress. If they would see how I actually dress, they don't even understand how I actually dress. He would actually refer to his Seva Swarup, in which he serves Radha Shyam. One time we went, after Katyani Vrat, we went for Kirtan into Katyani Mandir, as he always used to do. And then there were Matajis there and Prabhujis. It was not many people, maybe like 25, 30 devotees. And then some Prabhuji decided to arrange the crowd. So he started saying, okay, Prabhuji sit there, Mataji sits there. You know, no. He said, Gopas sits there, Gopis sits there. And Aindra stopped him and said, he said, Gopis in female bodies sit here, and Gopis in male bodies sits there. You know, so he was like, he wouldn't see himself as a man, like anything like that. And he was very sweet. There was thousands of occasions when he answered my questions and gave so much time when I had doubts and things like that. I have a friend, my best friend, she, at that time when we were staying in Vrindavan back in 2000, we were so poor. Like literally we were so poor. We had no money. I think everybody were. Now it's a little different, but and at that time I had no money and she had no money, like literally to buy a food. And then I couldn't help her. And at some point after Kirtan, Aindra Prabhu walked out and we started speaking to him about something I don't remember already. There's so many topics. I don't have time to talk about that. But suddenly the point of money came out and he realized that she has no money and there is no one who can lend money to her. Like she can't borrow any money to pay her room rent like for this month. And he said, oh, I'll give you money. I'll give you money. I have an ashram money which I collect for my kirtan. I'll give you this money, but just make sure you give it back because it's not my money, it's for ashram, but I'll give you money. He was so concerned for her that he actually lended her money, gave her amount, like good amount of money, and she gave him back after 3 months, you know. So he was like, he was an incredible personality. Also, he was very attentive to details, and sometimes I was inspired to bring flowers for Radheshyam's decoration. Because at that time in Vrindavan in 2003 and 2004, there were so beautiful trees growing around with nagchampas, like particularly that nagchampa is very strong scent, yellow flowers and different many. So I would see them walking around, so I thought, why don't I pick to bring to Radheshyam? So I would do that. And then when they would open the curtains at Darshanarati, I wouldn't see a single flower, which it took me 4 hours from Mangalarati to collect individually every flower which I wanted to offer to Radheshyam. And then I was thinking, well, I don't know, they're not there. So it kept on going on. And I realized what they do is they keep these flowers and they throw it at the feet of Shyam, that's all. And I was like, no, okay, I mean, that's what Krishna wants. And then one time I kept on bringing, one time I brought the flowers, again, picking very unique scented flowers in Vrindavan. And then when the curtain opened, I saw each flower tucked in Shyam's and Radharani's figure in such a unique, intricate, particular way. I was so shocked. You know how you want to offer and you have this chain of devotees who take your service to bring to Krishna. It's not you and Krishna. So then I felt so happy because that chain was so, somebody offered my service in such a perfect way. And then I thought, wow, I didn't know that was Aindra Prabhu. That was Aindra Prabhu dressing. I didn't know that time he had that Saturday, Sunday dressing days. So I kept on bringing the flowers and then I stopped doing it because often flowers were just thrown on the altar. And then somebody came to me and said, Mataji, Aindra Prabhu is looking for that person who was bringing flowers for Radheshyam decoration. Can you find that? I'm like, oh my God, I'm that person. So I just started bringing only Saturday and Sunday. That's what I felt he is offering, he's making. It's like the best offering of that particular very unique and rare things I was bringing. Yeah, I mean, there are so many things. So I'll end on one more thing, is that when we were doing kirtan once on the roof of some house in Vrindavan, I don't remember, it was somebody bought a new house, they called Aindra Prabhu for kirtan, so we all went there. It was nighttime, imagine like a moon and stars above you, Aindra Prabhu sitting, just very intimate group. And then in the middle of the kirtan, he stopped kirtan and he said that actually above us, it's not a material sky, it's a spiritual sky. It's actually the sky which goes up to Vaikuntha, it's Vaikuntha planets. And the moon you see, it's not the ordinary moon which you see outside of Vrindavan, and the stars, these are all spiritual sky. It has nothing to do with the planets which we study in astrology and things like that. And yeah, that was Farao. And I learned a lot from him. He explained many, many intricate things and inspired to go deeper and was very kind. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Aindra Prabhu ki jai.